sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Skanda 10, Adhyaya 1, Shloka 39. Dehe panchattvamapanne Dehi karmanugo vashaha hantaramanu prapya Prakanam tyajate vapuhu. Dehi karmanugo vachaha Dehantaramanu prapya Praktanam tyajate vapuhu. Dehe panchattvamapanne Dehe karmanugo vachaha Dehantaramanu prapya Praktanam tyajate vapuhu. Dehe panchattvamapanne Dehi karmanugo vachaha Dehantaramanu prapya Praktanam tyajate vapuhu. Dehe panchattvamapanne Dehi karmanugo vachaha Dehantaramanu prapya Praktanam tyajate vapuhu. No? Padapataha. No, you don't understand? Padapataha. Reading the words. Padapat. Pataha. Pada is word. Shabda. Pataha, reading. That's how the Pandits do it. Padapataha. Dehe. When the body, panchattvam apanne, turns into 5 elements, Dehi, the proprietor of the body, the living being, karma anugaha, following the reactions of his own fruitive activities, avashaha, spontaneously, automatically. Deha antaram, another body made of material elements. Anuprapya, receiving as a result. Praktanam, the former. Tyajate, gives up. Vapuhu, body. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. When the present body turns to dust and is again reduced to 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the proprietor of the body, the living entity, automatically receives another body of material elements according to his fruitive activities. When the next body is obtained, he gives up the present body. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, which presents the beginning of spiritual understanding. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Bhagavad Gita 2:13. A person or an animal is not the material body. Rather, the material body is the covering of the living being. Bhagavad Gita compares the body to a dress and elaborately explains how one changes dresses one after the other, one after another. The same Vedic knowledge is confirmed here. The living being, the soul, is constantly changing bodies one after another. Even in the present life, the body changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age. Similarly, when the body is too old to continue, the living being gives up this body and by the laws of nature automatically gets another body according to his fruitive activities, desires, and ambitions. The laws of nature control this sequence, and therefore, as long as the living entity is under the control of the external material energy, the process of bodily change takes place automatically according to one's fruitive activities. Vasudeva therefore wanted to impress upon Kamsa that if he committed this sinful act of killing a woman, in his next life he would certainly get a material body, still more conditioned to the sufferings of material existence. Thus, Vasudeva advised Kamsa not to commit sinful activities. One who commits sinful activities because of ignorance, tamoguna, obtains a lower body. Karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. Bhagavad Gita 13:22. There are hundreds and thousands of different species of life. Why are there higher and lower bodies? One receives these bodies according to the contaminations of material nature. In this life, one is contaminated by the mode of ignorance and sinful activities, dushkriti. In the next life, by the laws of nature, one will certainly get a body full of suffering. The laws of nature are not subservient to the whimsical desires of the conditioned soul. Our endeavor, therefore, should be to associate with those, our endeavor, therefore, should be to associate always with sattva guna and not indulge in rajoguna or tamoguna. Rajastamo bhavaha. Lusty desires and greed keep the living entity perpetually in ignorance and prevent him from being elevated to the platform of sattva guna or shuddha sattva guna. One is advised to be situated in shuddha sattva guna, devotional service, for thus one is immune to the reactions of the three modes of material nature. So we see that certain human beings, because of their circumstances, will never rise beyond the mode of ignorance. According to the Vedic concept, here Prabhupada in the purport said, the same Vedic knowledge is confirmed here. Why is it Vedic knowledge? When the body is changing, why is it called Vedic knowledge? We see pratyaksha directly that the body goes from boyhood to youth to old age. That we can see. But when the soul leaves the body is transformed, but we remain the same person. We have the same consciousness. When we're a small child, we can all remember when we were small children, but now we're not small children, we're adults. So, although our body has changed, our identity as a living being, a conscious living being, has not changed. So then how do we know that conscious living being at the time of the destruction of the present body goes into another body? Because the Vedas are telling us. That's why. So Prabhupada used the example, who can tell you who is your father? Only your mother can say who is the father. In this country, because we are Malechas and Yavanas, sometimes we see that one woman has many husbands and many children from many husbands. That's not the Vedic system. Although there is the example of Draupadi, which is an exception to the rule. Someone may ask, well, why you say this? Draupadi had 5 husbands. But that is an exceptional case. So there's exceptions to every rule. There may be some people who never die. They're the Chiranjeevis, right? You've heard of the Chiranjeevis? Saptaika Chiranjeevinaha. 7 persons who retain their material body for an extremely long period of time. The material body is destructible. What do they call it here? Planned obsolescence, right? It's a cliche, planned obsolescence. They make something so that it has a certain period of life. But those things are not conscious. Those are manufactured machines. Like a car, it has a certain life. So this material body is amazing. Ask any microbiologist, right? Microbiology is the study of the material body. Micro means small, so they, back in, this is 32 years ago, in Juhu, ISKCON, they organized the World Science for the Synthesis of Congress and Religion. I don't know how many of you even have heard of that. You heard of it? No? Our late godbrother, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, and Rasaraj Prabhu, who's still around, organized this conference. And they invited Professor George Wald, who passed away in I think he passed away 10 years later. That would have been 1996, at the age of 89. He was 79 years old, Harvard or MIT professor of microbiology. He was a Nobel laureate. He attended that conference. The Dalai Lama inaugurated the conference. The King of Kashmir, who's still alive, he must be 80 now, Karan Singh, was also keynote speaker. So George Wald, I remember in his keynote speech, he said, life as we know it is remarkable. The things that are required for life, according to science, to put them all together to create life, it's, 1 in a billion chance. This is a man who studied frogs' eyes. that was his specialty as a microbiologist. So life is remarkable, but what is the purpose of life? The animals are living, but they have no aim in life. Well, you might say they have finding food. That's their main aim. There are 2 types of animals, herbivores and carnivores. The herbivores are looking for grasses, and the carnivores are looking for some other living entity. It may be a small insect. We see the birds when the fields are plowed, then birds come and eat small insects that come out of the ground. Animals are conscious living entities, and human beings are conscious living entities. But the animal body, the human body, they die naturally after a certain period of time. Death means destruction of the body. But the consciousness in that body is influenced by these gunas. Guna means quality. Sattva guna, the quality of goodness. Rajo guna, the quality of passion. Tamoguna, the quality of ignorance. So it's like a vehicle. It has its fixed period of life. And according to Vedic knowledge, the Vedas, the mother. The Vedas are considered the mother. The mother tells you who is your father. So the father is Ishvara, God. And God has many forms. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. I mentioned that last night, but I forgot to explain it. Advaitam, one. Achyutam, he is not touched by the material energy. Achyuta, chuta means touch. Achyuta, not touched. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, he's the original. The father of everything. Ananta Rupam, unlimited forms. Ananta. Anta, end. Ananta, no end, endless. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam, Adyam, the original, Purana Purusham, the oldest person. Navayovanam cha, but he appears like a young 16-year-old youth. How do we know? Vedas, Vedic literature. That's the message. The body will change. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Tata dehantara prapti. When the time comes for the body to meet its final destruction, when the life goes out of the body, Deha antara, changing body. The body changes. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityor. For one who is born, death is certain. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. And for one who dies, birth is certain. This is the message of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. It's in the Upanishads, it's in the Vedas. So, human life, therefore, is meant to elevate the consciousness from the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion to the mode of goodness. How to do that? That is called sadhana. There's a system, a method. Just like when you go to modern education, you know, you don't, the day that you enter the school, you don't become a professor of microbiology at Harvard. You have to go through the long path of learning. So the Vedic system was to study the Vedas, at least one Veda. But this system wasn't for everyone. Stri, Shudra, Dvijabandhu Nam, Trayina, Shruti, Gochara. According to the Bhagavatam, women, the labor class, Shudra, Dvijabandhu Nam, and the higher classes who were not qualified, who were unfit, they were not allowed, or they are not fit for studying the Vedas. So there's another verse, well, everyone in Kali Yuga is a Shudra, right? Kalo Shudra, Sambhavaha. Sambhavaha means more or less. So what to do? Actually, if you take service, you know, what is called in English a job, right? A job. A job means you're serving someone. Paricharyatmakam karma in Gita. You know that verse? No? Right. You know the beginning of the verse. Samodhama tapo. No. There's a Gita here, right? Samadhama tapa socham shantir arjavam evacha jnana vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. The description of the activities, the karmas, and this relates to this verse. Because it says here in the shloka, karmanu govashaha, activities. Karma is action. The word karma translated into English is action. So according to our action, we get another birth after this body is finished. So if we are brahmanas, situated in the mode of goodness, then samadhamma, what is it again? Samadhamma tapas socham. Socham means cleanliness. Sama means steadfast equanimity, equanimity of mind. Samadhamma, dhamma means controlling one's senses. Samadhamma tapa socham. Tapa means austerity, like fasting or other types of austerities. Samadhamma tapa socham shantihi, peacefulness, non-violent kind of nature, or adopting non-violence. Samadhamma tapa socham shantir arjavam. Arjavam, truthfulness. A Brahmin is not supposed to lie. Now we know the politicians are all liars, whether they're in India or they're in United States or Russia or England or every place. Politician means liar. Prabhupada said lawyer means liar. The liar. So they bluff the public. We will do this for you. We will do that for you. Arjavam is truthfulness. A Brahmin is supposed to be someone who is in the mode of goodness is truthful. Samadhamma tapasocham shantir arjavam evacha. And other such good qualities. Jnana, knowledge. What is knowledge? Does knowledge mean someone is an old man with a long beard and gray hair? That's not knowledge. Someone is a Nobel laureate. We don't believe that's knowledge. Prabhupada said they should give the Nobel Prize to a donkey. Because the people that get the Nobel Prize, they have no knowledge of the Atma, of the soul. They're ignorant. They're in the mode of ignorance or in the mode of passion, Rajoguna or Tamoguna. But nowadays, maybe a PhD is worshipable. Shantir arjavam evacha. Jnana vijnana. Jnana is knowledge when you study the Vedas. You memorize. That was the system. Not this new math where you don't learn anything and the whole life you have to use a calculator like me. They used to memorize the multiplication table. Similarly, they used to memorize Veda mantras and Vedangas. And then there were Pandits who memorized the whole Bhagavatam or the whole Mahabharata or the different Puranas. Dharma Shastras, law books, Darshana Shastras, philosophy. Who was a famous teacher of Darshana Shastras that is connected with our movement? One of the 6 philosophies. No, nobody can answer that. Huh? Vyas, Kapila. Yes and yes, but I was looking for another answer. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit. He was a teacher of Nyaya Shastra, right? You know that. Nyaya Shastra is logic, Vedic logic. Gautama Nyaya Sutras. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a teacher of the Nyaya Darshana, it's called, the philosophy of Nyaya. He gave it up for Harinam. That's a different story. Well, that's part of the story. Jnana Vijnana. Jnana means you would have, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, learned all the Nyaya Shastras. But there's Nyaya Sutra, and then there's a slew of commentaries, 23 that I heard of, but there might be many more. And they used to memorize all those commentaries, memorize. The Mula Sutras, the actual Gautama's Nyaya Sutra. And then all the commentaries they would memorize. And one who did that was called a Pandit. Pandit was just not a name. Pandit means a learned scholar. It's an English word now. The Pandits, the gurus, right? There's car guru, there's engineering guru, there's IT guru, right? It's become an English word. It means a teacher. And Pandit means a learned scholar. Nimai Pandit was learned in the Nyaya Shastras. So, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. Astikyam, attachment, thumbs down, wrong. Theism, religiosity, astikya. Where does it come from, the word astikya? It's so simple. Asti. You ever heard of asti? Is. Astika, theist. Nastika, atheist. Nasti, there is no God. Asti, there is God. Samskrita Bhasha. Samskrita Bhasha shikshaniyam tadanantaram swayam eva bodha bhavishyati. If you learn Sanskrit, you will understand. It's very simple. Is and isn't. Asti, nasti. Astikyam, definitely Ishvara is there, God is there. Brahma karma, swabhava jam. Swabhava, nature, jam, born. There are people who are, because of their prarabdha karmas, their past karmas, they're born in such a family that they learn from a childhood Vedic knowledge. That is prapya punya kritan lokan. That's also in Gita. Those who perform punya, pious activities, good activities, they get a good birth. Prapya punya kritan lokan, or they go to the planets, lokan, planets, where the good go. The point is, Vasudeva was telling Kamsa, if you kill your sister, why, if you heard the story, I don't know if everybody's following the story, but Kamsa heard Akashvani, a voice from the sky, that your sister's son will kill you. So how to prevent that? He grabbed his sister, now I'll kill you, then you won't have a son. Then he won't kill me. So Vasudeva stopped him and tried to reason with him. So this is part of that reasoning. How much time do I have? Oh, so there's, according to this, there's quite a bit of time. Jayadvaita Maharaj propagates a 20-minute class. I may not agree with that. I don't know, everybody has his own. I'm just thinking, now what should I explain? So, yeah, I got the link again. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sometimes I lose the link. So the link is to become sattvic like a Brahmin. But most of the people are not Brahmanas. Most of the people, human society, are Shudras everywhere. And so when I remembered Paricharyatmakam karma, then I remembered Brahma karma, and then in between there's Kshatriya karma and Vaishya karma. So Brahma karma means the activities of a Brahmana. And generally those activities, as defined, as I explained, are in the mode of goodness. And Paricharyatmaka, Pari, another, Charya, following, Atmakam, one's own self, Paricharyatmakam karma, activities where you follow somebody. Yes, sir. Yes, boss. Right? That's what they say here. Yes, boss. Kainkaryam. You heard this word? Kinkara. You're reading every morning? Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam. I am your servant. Kinkara is servant. And what is the explanation for Kinkara? You know? No? I'm putting, yes. Correct. You win $1 million. Kim, what? Karaha should be done. Kinkara, what should be done? The servant always has to tell the master, what should I do? Here in this country, there are a few such servants left. Now they're all hired out to companies. When I was a child, we had a servant come and clean the house. And many years later, we went to the house of that servant, and it looks familiar here because the servant had taken so many things from our house. Small stuff, you know, pictures, ashtrays, I don't know, you know, small things. Servant means dishonest. There's another story Prabhupada used to tell. You know, in India, there's a class of businessmen, Marwari, Rajasthani businessmen. They're from Rajasthan. So somebody complained that the Marwari is not paying the servants enough of a salary. Why are they unpaid? No, they're getting. Because it's the nature of a servant to steal something from the master. Why is that? Arjavam. They don't have that honesty. Servants, generally, because of their nature, is contaminated by the tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. Right? So there's passion and ignorance. Rajoguna, tamoguna. Prabhupada says in the purport, to get moksha, to get liberation from the repetition of birth and death, punarapi jananam, again born, punarapi maranam, again die. In order to get free from this cycle, Shuddha Sattvam, pure goodness, which is beyond ordinary goodness, which is Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. But that pure devotion is not so easy. It isn't something you can purchase in the shop across the street for a few dollars. It's very cheap, right? If you go, oh, there's a market here, let me purchase this thing and that thing. But devotion to God cannot be purchased. It has to be developed. That is sadhana. It takes time. May take lifetimes. What does Bhagavad Gita say? Bahunam janmanam ante. At the end of many janmas, bahunam, many, janmanam, plural births, ante, at the end, Jnanavan, one who has Vedic knowledge, transcendent. Prabhupada says Vedic knowledge. I didn't write the purport, right? I didn't write this purport. I know there are devotees who say that we're not supposed to follow the Vedas. We're supposed to do Krishna Bhakti. Have you heard that? Have you heard that? It's going on. It's wrong. Why? Because I said so. Who am I? Who are you? Prabhupada wrote here the Vedic knowledge in the purport because it comes from Vedas. Vedas are the mother. So one cannot take away his mother. Everyone has a mother. Everyone worships their mother. We all, even Malechas and Yavanas who are non-vegetarians, who are killing cows, they respect their mother, isn't it? Only the worst Rakshasas would kill their own mother. Even the worst Rakshasas, the worst man-eaters. Otherwise, everyone, generally in human society, they respect their mother. So we have to respect the Vedas because we're following Vedic culture. We're following Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads, and the Gita Upanishad, right? Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopalanandanaha. If all the Upanishads took the form of a cow, and Lord Krishna is milking that cow, and the words of the Gita are the milk, and Arjuna is drinking that milk. So the Upanishads are part of the Vedas, isn't it? Who knows the 4 parts of the Vedas? No, those are the 4 Vedas, but there are 4 parts of each Veda. Upanishads, Brahmana, Samhita, Aranyaka. There are 4 parts of each Veda. So Upanishads are one of those 4 parts. And it's said in the Gita Mahatmya, Sarva Upanishado Gavo. All these Upanishads are in the form of a cow. Dogdha, the one who's milking the cow, Gopalanandana, the son of the cowherd, Krishna. Partha, Prita's son, Arjuna. Vatsa, calf. Sudhir Bhokta, he's drinking that milk. Dugdam, the milk. Gitamritam, the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. Mahat, it is a great thing. So, I don't know why some people are saying we are not following Vedic culture. I don't know why. I know why. Wait a minute, I do know why. It's called tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. And most of the people don't even know what Vedas are, isn't it? The Westerners, outside of India, who knows what Vedas are? Even Hitler, with all of the so-called Aryan, the swastika is from India. You know that? He turned it, but it's ancient. And he said, we're the Aryans. Actually, Aryan is someone who studied Vedas, not a German with blue eyes and blonde hair. That was false propaganda. He took the words from Sanskrit. He took the symbol, but he didn't establish Vedic culture. In Vedic culture, you don't kill people you don't like. There's jivadaya, there's mercy on other souls. Even if we consider someone lower or higher, just like in our body, our feet are lower, we don't cut off our feet because it's lower than the head. We don't think with our feet, right? Sometimes to insult people, your brain is in your rear end, you know, this is an insult here, right? But actually the brain is the center of activity of the body. You can't live without the brain, but you can live without your feet, right? There's a movie going around, Hare Krishna, right? What is it called? Stronger, where the guy lost his legs in the Boston bombing. There was a bombing, right? How was it, 5 years ago? Some crazy guys put together a bomb and then it killed so many people. So one guy lost his legs. He's still alive. If you lose your head, you cannot live. That's it, finished. But because the legs are lower than the head, we don't cut off our legs. They're also useful. The point is, we should become sattvic. We should try. We should strive. We should use this human form of life. We may not succeed. Bahunam janmanam ante. There may be many janmas. We may not succeed in this one janma. Right, there may be, we may succeed. We may succeed in a moment. We may get liberation. We don't know. That's the test. Anta kale chamameva smaran mukva kalevaram. At the last moment, if you think of me, like Ajamil, he's an exceptional case because he was a rascal. He was a dushkriti, as it's written here, dushkritinaha. Dushkriti, he did bad things. He left his wife, he left his family. He married a low-class woman. He was a thief, he was a rogue, he was a dacoit. These things are mentioned. But at the end, he remembered Narayana. We are not practicing the name Narayana, actually. Funny, isn't it? We're practicing Krishna, but we say Nam Namakari Bahuda. Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have many names. Akari forms. Nam names. Nam Akari Bahuda, many. Nija Sarva Shaktis. Your power is in your names. So according to the same Bhagavatam, Ajamil, the rascal, said Narayana, then he remembered Narayana. Then he was saved from having to having to go to hell. By remembering Narayana, by remembering Vishnu, by remembering Krishna. Anta kale chamameva smaran muktva, one becomes liberated. Kalevaram, from the material body. So practice makes perfect. In order to actually remember Narayana, one has to become sattvic. He has to situate himself in the mode of goodness. The story of Ajamil was when he remembered Narayana, he was supposed to die, but he didn't die. His life was extended and he went away to Haridwar and he purified his consciousness. And then he got liberation. So one may go to Haridwar, one may be any place, but he has to purify his consciousness by becoming sattvic, by giving up the lower modes. So that's sadhana. This chanting 16 rounds is the sadhana. And giving up meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication is the sadhana. It's an aid. Ajamil had no sadhana, but he remembered Narayana. But he's an exceptional case. So we may or may not be that exceptional case. I can't say for sure that in our connection, an exception may be made. But we should not take a chance. That's the point. That's the philosophy. Did I tie up all the strings or did I leave anything untied? Should we keep 10 minutes for questions? Okay. Any questions? Yeah. You need the mic, Prabhu? Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna. I'm wondering about practicing devotional service in the mode of passion and ignorance, and how it's
in 26 Avenue in the Prabhupada biography, a drunken man came in the middle of the lecture, right? It's described there, and he brought some paper towels and he put it on the platform and he walked out. And Prabhupada praised him. See, even he's doing some devotional service. Or Prabhupada said, if I am the taste in water, in Gita, apsu ham, what is it? Rasoham apsu. Rasaha is taste. Apsu in water, apaha water, apsu. So I am the taste in water. So Prabhupada said, if a drunken person meditates on the taste of alcohol as Krishna, he can become purified. That doesn't mean we should go out and start drinking alcohol and then saying, well, I'm meditating on Krishna. It's in the mode of ignorance. But somebody who's already in the mode of ignorance, if he can start meditating on Krishna, he may get elevated. That's the point. It's possible for someone the king is in the mode of passion. Kings have many wives, and the governing, it's a very passionate activity. But it says here in the Gita, it says, evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayaha rajarshayo viduhu. Rajarshayaha is plural, bahuvachanam, for kings who were like sages. How is that possible? Because those kings tried to purify themselves. Even though it's a passionate activity, being a king, and generally the Kshatriyas and the Kshatriyas are in the mode of passion. Vaishyas and Shudras are in the mode of, Vaishyas are in the mode of passion and ignorance, and Shudras are in the mode of ignorance, this general. So, but at the same time, by nature, because they're born in a royal family, they're born into wealth, they're born into, what are the other words? There's a word. What is that word? When you're born in wealth and you have power, I'm forgetting the word. Pardon? Ability, no, I'm not ability, but oh God. No. It's the sun. I'm looking for an English word. Pardon? Aristocracy, but there's another word that when you're in aristocracy, when you're born within aristocracy, you have, well, opulence, wealth, and no, there's another word like that's no. English, Angrezi Shabda. It's like that. Wealth, aristocracy. Yeah, like you're born with. It's like it's related to class, but I'm just forgetting a word. Privilege. That's it. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. You have privileges, right? Like the prince. There was a picture, right? Recently, Ringo of the Beatles, he's like 78 years old, and he was knighted by Prince, what's his name? There are two brothers. Charles has two sons. What are their names? The elder one, William. So there's a picture of William holding, he's a much younger person, and he's conferring this honor on a much older person. Why? Privilege. Right? He is the grandson of the queen. He has privilege. That was the word, privilege. That's the word. So when you're born a king, you have privilege. And to overcome that, to understand that actually I'm not a king, I'm an Atma, I'm a soul. And that the Supreme Soul is God. The king of Trivandrum, he passed away, but when I went there, Ananta Padmanabh Swami temple, very big temple of Vishnu. Shashtanga Dandavat. I went with Prabhupada to Tirupati. Full Dandavats. He was 80 years old. How old was Prabhupada? 1974. 78. Right? Quite elderly. Full Dandavat. Dandavat like a stick. Vat like danda, stick. And the king of Trivandrum, he used to bow down to Padmanabh Swami. So to overcome that false ego that comes from the privilege of being born in a royal family, that's very difficult. It's not easy. But there were great Rajarshaya, saintly kings. Rishi is a sage. Saintly sages, but they were kings. So that was the Vedic king. So those kings could overcome that mode of passion. When you have privilege, you feel entitled. Privilege and entitlement. These are the words, entitlement. I'm the king. That's the mode of passion. And the psychology, the consciousness that you get right from the childhood. You are a prince. You are going to rule the kingdom, right? So that mentality, well, just like a servant's mentality, they have there's a mentality in the mode of ignorance, there's a mentality in the mode of passion, and there's the mentality in the mode of goodness. So we want to develop the mentality of the mode of goodness. Next, yes. Please pass the mic. Thank you. Oh.
Thanks, Vasu Ghosh, for the class. It was great. There's a word also in the Western world that is noble, to be noble.
Right.
Nobility comes, and that was not just a title, but an attitude, because kings were noble.
Right.
In what that entails. Nobility means to be compassionate, to be care because he needed to take care of his or her subjects, but never happened with all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Sometimes in the history, that word came into an empty word and came more or meant more features. Oh, it looks so noble or so royal. But the sense of nobility that probably is entailed into what the Vedas mean, that got lost. I'm just saying.
That's a generalization, and even in the Bhagavatam, there's the story of King Vena, who was a rascal, and the Brahmanas killed him by mantras, not by violence, not by weapons, I mean, but by mantra shakti, the power of mantras. So yeah, there in history you find it was misused. The post was misused, and it's been abolished all over the world. I mean, except in Arabia. I don't even think in Africa there's a king now, maybe Botswana or something. 1 or 2 countries in Africa, but in Arabia. The Nepal was a Hindu king. He's gone. Brunei, there's a sultan. That's in Malaysia, next to Malaysia. So that system of kings was an ancient system. And they had certain duties and, you know, too much passion. There's a saying in Sanskrit, Ati sarvatra varjayet. Too much of anything is forbidden. Too much of anything is forbidden. So, when, you know, there are kings that, you know, forget that they have duties and they just indulge in pleasures. And there's a lot of history of that in India as well. Not only, it wasn't like India was exempt from such kings. It's corruption. And it's Kali Yuga, so there's more corruption. And because of that, they abolished the system. But the system that they replaced it with is equally or even more corrupt, maybe. I mean, the modern system of government is corrupt everywhere. And it's, you know, every day, here, there, and everywhere, you got reports. How to change it, how to stop it, it's very difficult. Prabhupada was very idealistic. We'll change the world. But it's very tough. It's a tough task. That's why only 20 people are here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The verse Dehino Asmin Yata Dehe.
Right.
Dhirastatra Namo Yati Kaumaremana.
Right.
So sober person is not bewildered by such a change. The body is changing. So as yourself, you have experience in Krishna consciousness. So we are different phases of life, different mature and different. And it says that through two activities, you get a different body. So you can put some light on your personal experience in Krishna consciousness.
No, your
changing
point,
the bodies.
There's a point there that everyone is not the same in their development of Krishna consciousness. And life is short. Human life is short. And if you don't perfect yourself, then that's in the Gita also, right? Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashta Abhijayate. One who could not perfect his practice of yoga, then he gets a better janma. He'll get a better birth. So birth is a result of our karmas. If your karma, your activity was sadhana bhakti, the practice of bhakti, and you became sattvic, but you couldn't think of Vishnu at the time of death, then you'll get another chance in the next life. That's what Krishna says. So that differs from person to person. You can't blanket say, well, anyone who shave his head and put on his tilak. Someone shave his head and put on his tilak and does all kinds of nonsense. He's not going to get that benefit, for example. He will have to be punished. So, I mean, part of the sadhana is shaving your head and putting on your tilak. But even then, there are different levels, different devotees. So yeah, we talk about Mahabhagavat and pure devotee, but one should not become insane that he's the Mahabhagavat, he's the pure devotee. One has to aspire to associate with a good devotee and lift himself up. Actually, the good devotee is one who studied Shastras and follows the teachings of Shastras. That's the good devotee. Means he is learned, a Brahmana. Why are Brahmanas praised? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitayacha. Krishna favors Brahmanas and cows. Why? For some purpose. Because Brahmanas have Vedic knowledge. And that Vedic knowledge can uplift you into the mode of goodness. Sadhana uplifts you into the mode of goodness. So association with learned persons, guru, and sadhus, devotees, will help anyone's Krishna consciousness. But what stage you are at and what stage there's no competition. You may say there's a competition, but anyway, it's up to the individual. Yeah.
In my country, we have an aphorism that says, the habit doesn't make the monk.
The habit means the clothing, right? Right, Prabhu. There's questions all over the place here. His hand was up first, but Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, in the Gita, Krishna also says, Mama Nusmara Yujyacha.
Right.
And personally, I feel it very hard to remember Krishna when doing even devotional activities, even chanting japa.
Right.
So if it's the mind, even in the association of, advanced devotees, how can one control their mind even with the best of, accoutrements?
It's a good question, because it's true. It's the mind, but that's in the Gita also. Chanchala himana Krishna pramati balavadridham. The mind is fickle. The mind is more difficult. Vayuriva sudushkritam. Tasyaham nigraham. Nigraham, to control it, I say, Arjuna tells Krishna, Arjuna says, more difficult than controlling the wind. So the answer was, Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Oh, Arjuna, you have to practice. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Prabhupada wrote constant practice, but the word is abhyasena, by practice. Tu kaunteya, tu would be the stress. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, or you. Tu is you also. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, you practice. Vairagyena, and be detached. Grihyate, it is possible to control the mind by constant practice and detachment. So that's not easy, but that's the only way, at least given in Gita. That is the way. We have to keep trying. When you fall down, you pick yourself up. And we fall down again and again, everyone. Unless you're on prema, the highest platform, like the gopis and the cowherd boys and the associates of Krishna. Yeah, next question.
Thank you, Boo. I have a question regarding our Upanayana Samskar, the Brahminical initiation in ISKCON.
Right.
Generally, that is awarded by the Guru, and it is, in our society, we consider, okay, this person is now a Brahmin. But what context are we referring to? Because there's a list of qualities that's given. So if someone is possessing those qualities by quality, he's considered a Brahmin. The question I have is more in terms of the propensity of work. Because it's interesting, that verse says, these are the qualities by which the Brahmins work.
Yes.
And the Shastra also defines 6 occupations of a Brahmin and of the different. So if someone has nice qualities, But maybe their propensity for work is more
Kshatriya,
farming
Vaishya,
or
Shudra. Right?
yeah. So how do we understand what we're giving, and what does it mean?
It's a good point, because we want everyone to become sattvic, and sattvic means these good qualities: truthfulness, knowledge of the Vedas. But specifically, brahmanas are, the thread is meant for, Yagnopavit is meant for performing Vedic sacrifices. And without that thread, you cannot perform sacrifices or deity worship. And in order to perform sacrifices and even deity worship, you're supposed to know the mantras. So the child is given the thread, and then he memorizes the mantras. Later on, it's actually data entry, basically. That's what it is. It's mechanical. But the Veda mantras are considered more, what's the word? God. Not auspicious, well, auspicious, but what is it? Efficacy, not efficacy, but efficacious, useful, efficacious, for being in the mode of goodness. So Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and even the Vaishyas, who are considered mixed mode of passion and ignorance, but they were supposed to study Veda mantras also. So there are communities in India, they had that tradition of the thread. So you know whether they're, for instance, in the 9th canto, there's a purport where Prabhupada talks about remarriage. And you know, remarriage among Malechas and Yavanas, especially a woman who has a child. Prabhupada said that among the higher classes in India, in the purport, I can show you later because I don't remember the exact, I've got it on my computer. I didn't memorize that purport yet, but if they remarry in if they remarry in the presence of their husband or divorce their husband, it's a dishonor on her father's family. Prabhupada wrote like that. He said, then he wrote that this is the activity of the Shudras. He didn't say the Malechas and Yavanas, he said the Shudras. For a woman from a higher caste, it's a shame. So it was a tacit acknowledgement of, janma by birth, in a sense. What it means is, what did I say, janma by birth? I mean caste by janma. Being born into a particular community. Janma and birth are the same thing. I made a mistake. You are born with these good qualities, Krishna told Arjuna. Then we say, Suchidam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashta Abhijayate, born. So you get a chance. That's why Dvija Bandhu word is there. You get a chance by birth to become a Brahmana if you're born in the family of a Brahmana. It's more of a chance. There's a lot of chance, nowadays especially, you find all these, Indians here with these H-1 visas who are workers, right? H-1B visa. So they're from Brahmin families, but they're doing a Shudra karma, right? They're not doing the Brahma karmas. So your point is correct. The Brahma karma has to be there to be a Brahmana. And you can be sattvic and be a Shudra. That is also there. It's possible. Sat Shudra, of the Shudra who's, he serves others, but he's not in the mode of ignorance because he cultivated the mode of goodness.
So what you're saying is the distinction for Varna is more your occupation.
Yeah, that's what it says, right? Guna karma, vibhagashaha, your qualities and your work, karmas, your actions. Karma means action like picking up a book, but it also means occupational duty or occupation. So if I remember that was years and years ago, in Andhra Pradesh, in Guntur, we were having a program, and one guy came to me, and I'm a Brahmin, and he started reciting the Veda mantras. Then I said, what do you do? So he said, I'm a mechanic in the jute mill. So then how was he, those weren't Brahma karmas, those were Shudra karmas. So the division was by occupation, sure. Same time, you can be a Shudra and be Sattvic. You can be in the mode of goodness. But generally, we see that the Shudras are in the mode of passion and ignorance, or more even in ignorance. Does that answer the question? It could go long. We went over time, so. Right. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.